Hey, how's it going everyone? Pren here. So this video is just going to be a little advice on fleet building. Maybe you're already established fleet, maybe you're standing right here at Earth Space Dock. Either way, just going to go through some basics, stuff that worked out for us, stuff that did not, and what I would probably do differently. So let's just start from the beginning. Let's say you are a brand new fleet. You endured zone chat, asking for the 4 people to join you. Everyone's saying don't bother, you're never going to make it, blah blah blah. You gotta deal with the zone chat. All right, but you got your 5 people. You're all in the same instance, and you would go over here to our ambassador fleet, and you would talk to her. You want to create a fleet name. This is one thing I've seen a lot of in the last 2-3 weeks. A lot of fleet names with misspelt words. You want a certain level of professionalism. I get it's a game, but when you're misspelling basic words, it kind of makes you look like a make it go fleet, if you get my drift. All right, so let's just say you create your fleet name. The first thing you want to do is you want to secure your fleet. And what I mean by that is you want to start setting your permissions. Right, there's a lot of permissions to set. So the first set we're going to do is our ranks. All right, let's pull up some rank. Go over here, go over to the fleet, and tab all the way over to settings. All right, so here are all the ranks. All right, now if you joined with the 4 people that you got, maybe they were just doing it to help you and they're going to leave. Maybe one's your next door neighbor. You gotta kind of decide where the trust factor is on that. If it's a brand new person that just joined to help you, I probably would not have them as a rank 7. You might get lucky, but this game is full of not so live long and prosper kind of people. I've seen fleets get stolen, stuff like that, banks cleared out. It can get really messy. So the big thing here is trust. So the way we do this is we have our commander as getting the first one to get bank access. If you go over, this is the criteria we have to get promoted. We used to have this a bit higher. That was so we could level up faster. Now we're a level 85 fleet. We're working on other fleets in our Armada, so we lowered the criteria a bit. I think this is more than fair. I've heard of horror stories of fleets demanding keys for promotion. I've heard of fleets demanding keys just to stay in the fleet. Yeah, I personally don't agree with that. I mean, to each their own. Maybe they are redistributing keys in the form of giveaways or something. That's not my business. I'd like to focus just on my Armada and my fleet. So, yeah, you want some kind of criteria there. That way people can strive for promotions and obviously fleet store access. We use a captain rank. It's a heck of a difference, 60k all the way to 500, but it's kind of a prestige thing. We do this also because at that point all their tunes can get promoted across the board. And then we have our admirals. So admiral for us is our admins. Those are our staff officers, the ones that can promote, demote, stuff like that. That's to kind of spread the responsibility. Believe it or not, this game is going to be filled with people that want more responsibility. And yeah, I mean, it's really awesome. Obviously, you want to cultivate leadership. You want to make sure you're selecting the right kind of people for the right kind of job. We have toyed with having different admins for different topics, PvP, events, event coordinator, stuff like that. It really doesn't work. Usually if you have a strong admin base, usually people, they kind of pick and choose where they're going to feel comfy, and believe it or not, it does work out. Our next rank, you might not need this right now. is an ambassador rank. Obviously, it has no real permissions. Um, this is used for our other fleet leaders in our armada, so they can go to our stores and invite their members. We are a level 85 fleet, maxed out stores. Um, Obviously, you know, their provisions are getting depleted. All right, that fleet's provisions. So it does no harm to us. We do want, to share that benefit with everyone. And obviously, rank 7 is a leadership role. Again, maybe you might want to do a co-leadership. When I first started, I think it was about 5 months until I took on a co-leader. And it took about that long to really get to know him, and I had to press him to become a leader. He did not want the responsibility. He's sitting there, he's donating all kinds of stuff, he's helping all these people out, and he's a down to earth, really good person. And you usually can find good admins and good co-leaders when they don't want the job. If you have to press them for it, that's a good indicator that they might be good for the spot. Thank you, Yuki. It's been a pleasure all these years. All right, let's see. So you do want these permissions set. Obviously, set them however you feel, but just make sure there's something there. And again, criteria too. You can create your emblem, uniforms if you want. Again, we're just concentrating right now on securing our fleet. The next thing you want to do, and this is very important, is you want to go to your fleet bank. So you're going to have your 8 repositories. You're going to have to buy 2 through 8. I believe 1 stays open for new fleets. You can name them whatever you want. Ground gear, manuals, and so on. Usually I keep the last 2 over here as safes, high value items that you don't want 100 keys floating around in your junk drawer pretty much for anybody to take. That's where we get into permissions. So you could set this criteria however you want. Again, it should kind of mirror the criteria for promotion and everything, but obviously we don't want people to join and just be able to gain access to the bank. Usually when you recruit somebody, they join and then you see them running over to the bank and then they leave fleet. It's usually because, oh man, there's no access. So plenty of times we've renamed bank holdings just for some people. Jamie Davies, talking to you. But yeah, you just want to make sure these are set. All right, so again, I mean, ambassador, that's not a real rank for us, so there should be no reason they need to go in the bank. Admins, if they can't be trusted with certain things, then they probably aren't good admins. But you definitely want to have this stuff set, and you want to have it set for every single holding. Very, very important. Very important. So we've secured our fleet. Everything's good. You made a picture, or an emblem I should say. You might want to look into setting some information now. So obviously your fleet description, this is what your members will see. Nobody else will be able to see this outside of your fleet. If you have a web page, maybe a Facebook page, YouTube page, you could put that here. And this recruiting message is what people will see when they're searching for your fleet, if they search for your fleet. You want to keep it short, simple, to the point. Again, if you have a website, if you have a YouTube channel, you definitely want to put it there, especially a YouTube channel. People love YouTube. The other thing is search tags. Now, to me, this isn't too relevant, but some people might actually be more interested in PvP. Maybe you are strictly a PvP fleet. Maybe they are role-playing. All that kind of, does have an impact. The biggest thing, though, is time zone. You want to make sure that you're not just filling out all the blocks in the time zone, and say you have people, in Asia when nobody in Asia plays Star Trek Online. All right, I'm not saying nobody in Asia does, just I hope you get my point. We do have our time zone set for Eastern time and London time because we do play with people across the pond. Um, there's pretty much somebody online at all times in our Armada. So we have our information set. All right, just make sure everything's good there. The other thing you could do is start making some events. Um, Now we do this one down here called activity roster. This is to ensure that inactives are getting purged from the fleet on a monthly basis. We don't do this, we don't do a purge monthly. It's more like every 3 to 4 months. The cap on fleets is 500 members. Um, and this kind of ensures that the 23 Rikers and 56 Jean-Lucs, get purged because typically with those names, they come on, they play the game, they don't like it or it's too complicated, and you don't see them ever again. So yeah, we'll put this up usually around 450 members. We put out a fleet mail. Hey, we're going to be doing a purge. Make sure you're ticked off on the box. You don't have to actually be there. Um, just make sure you put a check mark. That way you don't get purged. And then do that same thing the next week, and then the day before. And yeah, so um, you could also make another event. When we first started, I found that doing a giveaway it really actually had a huge impact. Huge turnout for that. We just did a T5 weekly giveaway, and we did a 2-key weekly giveaway. And it was all random. You don't have to actually be present to win or anything. Just click off attending, put everyone in a random generator on Google, and yeah, let Google do the work. So that was a big one. To date, our fleet has, just our fleet alone, has given, we stopped counting years ago, well over 35 billion EC worth of items, ships. Um, I mean, it wasn't just, myself, obviously, or just the co-leaders. You're going to find that as you go, and if you're making a good community, a nice place to game, you'll find that people are extremely generous here. And, you'll just log in and somebody said, hey, I dropped 2 T6s off in the bank, or 100 keys, put them for whatever giveaway. And now you have to do work and make an event, but it does make it worth it. All right, so we have our event set. Message of the day, that's kind of important if you want to convey, little reminders, hey, this holding is priority, or hey, reminder, we're doing an invasion, whatever it might be. Our fleet, since it is a max level fleet, we no longer really have anything to donate to. I mean, we could create stuff, but we are stocked on provisions as well. We do what's called Fleet of the Month. So we name one of the fleets in our Armada, and we have our members, or we encourage them, to donate just to that fleet. And that has been a very, very big success. Obviously, there's some logistics as far as the criteria, because now you need to have an alt in that fleet, or you need a very active fleet leader to verify the donations were met. So it's something we've been doing for a long, long time now. It used to be Fleet of the Week. We kind of changed it to month. But we think it works. We definitely think it works. So that's pretty much it for the fleet menu. Now we can go into Armada. Now this is up to you. If you want to, when you create a fleet, you're going to be the alpha of your own Armada. I didn't plan on doing Armada stuff. I thought I'll make a fleet and we'll join someone. And that just did not happen. I mean, at the time, nobody really was looking. I don't know why. Very active and everything. Usually at the time I was looking, we had about 15 active members at any given moment. Exception of really late at night, 3 o'clock in the morning Eastern time. But It's up to you. It's a lot of work, I'm telling you now. I know that some other armadas, they will leave their alpha fleet as a dummy fleet and just have, like, a person in there or whatever, or a collection of all of them. And they will actually rule as more of a council. Every single fleet will have its own say, its own vote, whatever it might be. Um, there's a lot of different ways to go about your leadership style, but I would definitely get something in your head now on what you want to do. Um, Again, our goal is to level everyone to 85. That's our goal. So, um, the other thing is your dilithium discount. Now, being that so this is max settings right now. Our Armada is at, not max level, but maxed out enough where we get our maxed out bonuses. So, experience, you get 20% bonus. Experience comes very easy. It's the dilithium that's going to build the fleet. So, with that said, dilithium, yeah, it's easier, and a lot of people, other fleets want to be in the gamma slot because you get, a complete reverse. You get the 20% dilithium and 5% experience. Let's get into holdings and figure out why that bonus is so important. So, going through, you might want to start queuing some stuff. One mistake I made, and I will take full responsibility, is I left the colony alone from the very beginning. Um, I started on the dilithium mine because Reddit said so. So I listened to Reddit. And, it's right. You get a discount on future uh, holding projects. So it's definitely worth getting your dilithium mine up there as fast as possible. Followed by your starbase. Um, to be honest, if I had to do it over again, I would make sure everything is queued at all times. Now, with that being said, it's not going to show here because, again, max level fleet, we don't need the 1,000 experience points. But if you click on these, so each one of these, morale, infrastructure, and renewable, all right, it's going to have its own category of projects. Now, the one thing you definitely don't want to do is do a pure dilithium project. It is a complete waste. Unless you're really dying for this and, like, it's going to get filled up very quickly, I would not bother doing this. That is a lot of dilithium. Not to mention, you're not getting any of the experience points for the upgrades. Alright, so here we only see the pure dilithium one, and this one, and it gives 500 renewable resources, experience points, and some provisions. Now this is good if you, got to get some provisions in there and everything. But if you're stocked up on provisions, this is good enough. You don't want to do that 500 one. There'll be another one here for energy, and it'll be 1,000. You want to do that one. You're going to be leveling twice as quickly, obviously. And with that being said, you also want to double queue items. So you could slot one, then press square, and slot the exact same one. That way you don't have to be on every single day, twice a day, to make sure that the worst case scenario is logging on, you're trying to level up your fleet, and all these are empty. That's not good. Members need a place to donate. You need them to be able to donate to level up the fleet, but they also donate for the one criteria to get access to the fleet store, but they also need the fleet credits to buy stuff from the fleet store. So you definitely want to make sure you have your projects in line. These special projects. So these are the aesthetic upgrades. And what I mean by that is, so on your left here, these featured projects, those are your aesthetic upgrades. They end in 2068, so hurry up. Joking. Those are pure dilithium upgrades. Alright, and they're not, I don't even really want to call them upgrades, being that they serve no function other than pimping out your starbase or your colony world. They're purely aesthetic. We did finish ours. Our fleet was founded on May 2nd, 2019, and that's our completion date there, October 22, 2020. Um, that was with all the upgrades, not just to the holdings, but all the aesthetic upgrades as well to each of the holdings. So a year and 5 months, um, I think that's pretty good. I think that's very good. It was a grind. If I again started the colony and didn't leave it to the very end, we would have definitely been done within a year, I think. Um, why I say that is the colony world has a coffers tab, and as you level up your colony world, you are passively generating your provisions, and this caps out at 250,000. So when you get to your upgrades and it's 400,000 provisions, it's going to hurt trying to get that by grinding out colony invasions. It's better to have that initial 250,000 just ready to go, and then you grind out. Yeah, we got our colony invasions done the old school way. There was no glitch. Be forewarned, if you guys are glitching out there for your colony invasions, don't let Cryptic know. They will adjust your fleet level accordingly. But we had to get our 20 people, 4 generators, 5 per team, and get very serious on comms and really make sure that we did not mess anything up, and we got our provisions. And that was, headaches. So we have a coffers tab. This is new, new as in a couple weeks now, 2 weeks I think. You have coffers for your starbase, which is another thing we did not have. This is very awesome. I can remember myself and one of my co-leaders sitting at the starbase. I worked full-time and went to school full-time. I'd come home very late, and we'd sit at the starbase for an hour opening up duty officer boxes. And oh my, that seemed like it took forever. It was just so long. So this gives a place for your members to dump off those extra officers, and you can use them for your upgrades. So, alright, let's jump out of that. Alright, one other thing I want to talk about is fleet leader routines. So my routine is typically the first 15 minutes or so of logging in. That is not for me. That is for the Armada, the fleet. It's pretty much admin. The first thing I'll do, I'll check all my PSN chats, Armada chats, stuff like that. That's another thing. Setting up PSN chats, that gives you a good place to archive things like pictures of builds, or cool little screenshots of sunsets on Rise, or whatever floats your boat. But I do recommend setting up chats on PSN. If you are heading up Armada, I would do maybe Armada Commander chat, just those leaders, maybe a fleet leaders chat, an Armada chat, any other specialties. I mean, we dabble a lot in PvP, so there is a FunV chat. I definitely recommend that. So I'll check the chats, I'll check my fleet mail, or my personal mail, go through the Armada windows, see if anybody set off a timer. Maybe it was an accident, maybe something happened when I wasn't logged on. Yeah, going through all that stuff. Next, I'll probably take a look at the bank, make sure that that's still intact, permissions are set, but you just never know. You want to kind of see if somebody's withdrawing a whole lot. I mean, obviously, if somebody's withdrawing the same exact Omni weapon every single day, that would be a little red flag. Next thing I would do is going on a recruiting spree. So unfortunately, the game mechanics, you have to go through quantity in order to get quality. You're going to want to recruit, and you might want to extend this to the first 20 minutes you're on. You definitely want to recruit. you want to recruit. I can't stress that enough. So the major areas is obviously ESD. You stop over by the tailor, scoop up anybody here, and just random invite. I mean, obviously, if they don't join the first time, don't keep sending them an invite. You don't want to be nagging them, interrupting their game time. Stop by over there by Admiral Quinn's. Obviously over there by the ship vendor, plenty of people there. And last would be our exchange. And you just go into every instance. If you can't get into the instance, cancel triangle, cancel triangle, cancel triangle until you can get in. Do every instance. Again, it's unfortunate that the game mechanics, we're forced to go through the quantity in order to get quality. I would stay away from people with derogatory names. Big Ball Jim, Big Gay Space Bear, I think, is outside at ESD right now. I probably would stay away from inviting them. Again, that's a reflection of your fleet. Those members are a reflection of your fleet, so to each their own. Another thing I want to talk about is a lead by example kind of thing. So, lead by example means a couple things. Your holdings. If you're not at the top of the leaderboard, or at least within like the first three, that could be a problem. Nobody wants to be a part of a fleet and build it when the leader is, only logging in half hour a week, just queuing stuff and letting other people pretty much build the fleet for him or her. Nobody wants to do that. So, you kind of have to put forth the effort. Again, making a fleet is not just, it's a pretty big commitment if you want to actually be successful. Now, you could go two ways. You could, stay on the free to play and, just do the long grind. There's fleets that have been around for 4 or 5 years that are just hitting level 80. And that's fine. That's completely fine. That's their, play style. I have no problem with that. Others, they actually spend money on the game. I personally have no problem spending some money on this game. If I'm having fun doing something, I see it as just a subscription. Obviously, if you're paycheck to paycheck, you probably don't want to be blowing, a whole bunch of money on this game. So, again, you just want to be out there. You want to be participating. Not just in the leaderboards, but you want to be hosting those events, colony invasions, or PvP events, a TFO run, stuff like that. You want to try and again cater to all the different little aspects of the game for individuals. The other part of lead by example is zone chat. All right, we all know it's pretty much the Jerry Springer of STO. Things get heated in there. Some people say some really crazy stuff. Other stuff is not really cool at all. Telling people to go kill themselves, or cursing, or just blatant disrespect. You really don't want to do that. You also want to keep zone chat open. Unfortunately, as a leader, I have to keep this open, because if I go and I see one of my members telling Sarah Kerrigan to go kill themselves, they are getting the perma ban, and there's no question about it. It's in our rules. That is a no-go. That being said, these zone chats heat up. I spend a lot of time in Karat. I have a summer alcove there. I can't sell. The market's bad. But things get heated there, and I'm just as guilty, but you kind of got to take a step back and realize you're not just representing yourself. You're representing, your entire fleet, your entire community. So, just take that under advisement, I guess. All right, so I guess we could just do a quick recap. Pretty much, again, make sure the spelling in your fleet is, correct. Make sure you lock down your fleet. Make sure you set all those permissions. You don't want to do all this, get some levels just to have your fleet taken from you because you were AFK for a week or whatever it was, right? Yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, participate. Um, Again, if you can get a website and or a YouTube channel, it's pretty cool to be able to, post that, along with your recruiting message, in your bio. I have it there, our website, our YouTube. You know, I think that's a pretty cool selling point. Um, Again, I hate to say selling point, but I hope you get what I mean. Um, Yeah, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work, but don't be discouraged, especially if you're just starting out the fleet and everything. You just got done being told by all of those people in Zone Chat that you're going to be an absolute failure and your mom's never going to hang anything up on the fridge again. Don't listen to them people. All right, it's up to you. If you want to be successful, you can be successful. Right? It's not that hard. It's a grind. It's a little bit of time. If you want to do the pay to win scenario, we had a fleet that, that was a pay to win fleet. They got to level 83 in 10 months. But the guy went AFK and his fleet was taken from him. Not going to name drop on that one. Well, would love to, but not going to. Um, so again, just be careful. Myself and Yuki, my other co-leader, we did the math a couple years ago. We were such nerds, I know. Um, but we did the math. We pretty much went on the wiki, got all the numbers for all the dilithium and EC needed for each upgrade, each project, everything else, and we converted that all to Zen, and then we convert the Zen to, the PSN marketplace, and it comes out to thousands of dollars just to get a fleet leveled, and that's not including the aesthetic upgrades. So, again, you know, there's multiple different ways of going about it. Um, you know, I encourage people actually to make their fleets. When somebody wants, to make a fleet in Zone Chat, I hop on my alt, I go over, and I help them out. I don't discourage them, because I'm a firm believer in the more the merrier. And if somebody wants to do a fleet real quick, it's all of maybe 5 minutes of my time to help them out. And who knows, they might invite more people to the game, and again, the more the merrier. So, anyways, I hope this video helps in some way for somebody out there. Yeah, I appreciate it, and good luck.